I built another tournament deck list ready for you guys to take to this YCS this weekend. I hope you guys are ready. I've been getting a lot of requests for Tearlaments, and this is my spin on what I would take if I was going to play Tearlaments this weekend to the YCS. If you like this sort of content, click that like button and click the subscribe button, and comment below if you have any questions about this deck list or any changes that you would make. All right, guys. Let's get into it. All right, guys, here it is. It's a 45 card clean tier element list. Probably got the highest ceiling in terms of a deck ready for this week. Will be a very good option in Top Cut for this event if you do make it. In Swiss, it might be quite grueling just because of time. Time has been increased this weekend to 45 minutes compared to the usual 40 minutes. This deck just takes a while to combo off, so unless you fully know the deck, I wouldn't recommend taking it. However, though, it's very powerful if you do understand the deck and how to play it. All right, guys, here we go. Start with 12 tier element monsters that we're playing. We're maxing out on Reinhardt, Sharon, Havnis, and Merely. Now, the reason why we want to play all these and 3 of each is because we want to resolve each one per turn, and we're likely to do that in this build. Each one's essential. We want to max out on these because you're going to mill a lot of cards. Next, we're playing a danger lineup. Now, it's not a big danger lineup, and ideally I was going to stick just to 5 dangers, but I decided to increase it to 7. Now, we have to play Nessie. The reason why Nessie's so broken is it's a Dark Aqua. So it really complements the Tearlaments monsters really well. Jackalope, we actually like this one. This is better than Snack. By far, we'd play 2 of these over a Snack. We also have the Snack. It is the worst one, but this is mainly a fact to help us make Curious. That really is it. I mean, like, Mothman is better than it. Now, the reason why Mothman is better is because if we do reveal Mothman and we actually do hit it, we draw a card and we can then discard one of our Tearlament cards and trigger that. So it complements the deck again quite well, where Sneck doesn't. It's only really here for Curious. Next, we have Trushudo. It really is nice, and I had a choice between playing this or Gizmek. Now, if I played the level 8 Gizmek, the issue we had with that is it banishes 8 cards face down. And there's a lot of cards in this deck that you don't want to banish. You can't afford to banish it. It's why we're not playing Decides. Playing Zephyros. Now, Zephyros complements the dangers very well. The ability just to discard this from the danger and then bounce the danger back to a hand to summon this and then trigger the danger again is broken. This card really is a must-have in this deck. Then I'm playing a small Splight package. Playing 1 blue, 1 jet, and 1 red. Now, red is used to really just to set up and not worry about Nibiru. Jet is used to add smashes as a way to get out of Mystic Mine. Blue is there to add either one of 2. So this list is really nice as well because we do have Dark in our extra deck, which allows, because of Splight being played everywhere, we can reborn our opponent's blue, and then we can just add our own jet or our own red, summon jet, smashes, and then just break board. Definitely need to have some way to out Mystic Mine, but the reason why this playing these is nice as well is because it's a way out of Mystic Mine and a way out of Nibiru. And these 2 are dark as well, so it adds definitely to our Curious. Next up, we have Albion. We are playing Brandon in High Spirit spell package. Now, I think you just have to play this card. The reason why you have to play it is because everyone's playing Veiler in some way, and not many people have adapted to play Morna over Veiler, which is nice. So you can just play this in the standby phase and to make hit in the standby phase and not be hit by a Veiler, which is pretty solid. Just having this and then this for a free draw is just nice as well. When you get to thin the deck, which increases the probability of you milling more tier element cards. I'm not regging tier element without this small engine, and I'm not even regging tier element without the small danger package as well. Next up is 3 of the field spells. You just have to play 3. I even play 4 actually. I'm playing Terraforming. The effect to destroy something is so important and so vital that you just can't ignore it. Playing 3 Supoli. Now, Supoli is actually better right now than it has been for the last few months. Splight's more popular than it has been. A lot of players are probably going to stick to that this weekend just because it's the new format, the new list, and people are more comfortable with playing it. This can actually do quite well, especially against like the live twin version. I wouldn't cut Supoli at all. I definitely would play more copies if I could. And with a lot of tier elements around, it's just another card that you need for the mirror match. It means also in Top Cut, this is going to be the best card in your deck because you're likely to play against Splight or tier elements, so you just have to include this. You got to decide, are you playing the tournament to win or are you playing just a top? Now, if you're playing just a top, then maybe you might want to cut it, but in the later rounds, it's definitely going to be vital as it would be in Top Cut. If you want to win, you definitely need it. The next card is Forbidden Droplet. In my opinion, Forbidden Droplet has gained a lot of value recently, and if you look at YCS Niagara Falls, players that played Droplet crushed because a lot of players were setting up the Elf and Griffin combo, and it's really hard to play around it, especially with Eradicator. If you had Droplets, it's really nice to play around it. I decided not to play any hand traps in this deck because if I go first, I should be winning. If I go second, I could play Nibiru. Nibiru is very powerful. But with a lot of Splight running around, I'd rather have a deck which can be more coverage, like Droplet, and I'd just rather have 3 of these than have just 3 Nibirus. This is really good against Flunder as well, so don't forget about that. That deck is getting more popular. It's good against road decks, but it's definitely strong against the mirror match, and it's strong against Splight. Now the broken one-offs. Like the broken one-offs. Fall by the Grave. Foolish Burial. Instant Fusion. Terraforming. And Smashes. Fall by the Grave is just, I don't need to explain it. Foolish is beyond broken. Card should be banned. Like, to be honest, these 3 should be banned, to be fair. Instant Fusion is probably actually the best card you want to start with. Final 3 cards is free Soliake. The reason why you want to play free is you actually don't care if you draw it. It's actually a really nice piece of interruption for your opponents. Also, you want to increase the odds of you milling it because it allows you to set up a strong board. The extra deck. So we have to play Kaleido Heart. It's great form of interruption. It's really good against Nibiru. It's a great floater. You just have to play it, especially if you're playing free Rhino Heart as well. Then we're playing double kit. You don't need to play free. We're playing the Death Frog as well. I really like this package. Wings, the tax directly is 3k, so don't forget about that. It's easy way. There's easier lines now to OTK because of this card in this deck. With them playing Dracopelia, you just have to play this. It's solid. Madragon, you mainly just use this as a material to make Dweller. It is nice as well if you want to call light. So when you do make Curious in the extra monster zone, if you don't have Elf pointing to it, you can then, it's just protected because it's light can't be targeted, so it gets around Veiler and Imperm. Now for the links, we're playing 2 Elf. You just have to play 2. Comes up way too often. I found that 3 would come up often as well in testing, but you can't cut it to 1. You definitely have to reg 2 if you're playing this weekend. Gigantic Sprite. Extra can be quite tight with this deck because there are a lot of links that you can make and there's a lot of links that you want to play. Could probably add in like a Zeus, but you are breaking boards anyway, so I wouldn't worry about that. I'm playing the Dark Charmer. Dark Charmer's busted in this deck list. You just have to reg it. Curious, of course, like self-explanatory. Now I'm playing the Griffin, playing Zorobarus, and then of course Dweller. You just have to play this. Now for the side deck. Playing Triple Cherries. Now, the reason why we're playing 3 cherries is because this list allows us to play Kit and it allows us to play Splight Alf. So this is solid in the mirror match and against Splight, which are the most represented decks right now. Then we have 3 Nibiru. You just have to play Nib in some way. If your opponent knows you're not playing Nib in the tournament, then they're just going to take full advantage of you. Go Ladybug. When it's sent to the graveyard, you get 1,000 life points. Level 4 as well. Cut your mate Dweller. Triple Cosmic Cyclone. You just have to play Cosmic. Just because of the representation of Splight decks that are playing Runic now, you just want to basically shotgun the Fountain before you start playing any cards. Because Fountain triggers on a separate chain to draw, they could chain their Runic cards from the hand, cool, but they won't then be able to resolve the effect of Fountain to be able to draw cards. The one Eradicator, now I did and on playing this in the main deck and playing 46. Now that I'm not still against that, you could still do that and create an extra side deck spot in your side deck. Spot you could create in your side deck could be Harpist Feather Duster, Dynarestla Prankatops. Okay, and then playing a Pointer. Now you have to play a Pointer in your side deck. It's just a god card when you go first. Looking at that hand, getting all that information, knowing then what to interrupt when in your opponent's turn is huge. And let's be real, they're not getting another turn when it passes back to you. Your board is going to be huge. You're just going to kill them. Okay, and the final 3 cards. Now, it's a card which I didn't really want to showcase because I'm probably playing Runic Sprite this weekend. But it's a card that I think is going to be very good against Runic Sprite, and it's not seen. I don't think it's seen any play yet, and it is Magic Deflector. Now, what Magic Deflector does, let me read it fully for you. For the rest of this turn, negate all equip, field, continuous, and quick play spell cards effect on the field. So yeah, once it resolves, any cards your opponent activates on the field, it's negated. If you chain this on top of like a tip, yep, it's negated, cool. There is a downside to this card. It obviously negates Mystic Mine, obviously. The only downside is if you decide to chain it to your opponent, let's say you set this, pass, etc. Your opponent set goes in draw phase or standby phase, activates a Runic spell, or activates Splight Starter, which is a quick play. You can then chain this. Yeah, that will get negated, but now that they're forced now to chain everything else, which won't be negated, right? Because I'm higher on the chain, which in some ways actually not a bad sign because they're using everything. But the really important thing that's really good about this is it stops the slight smashes for that turn, because they can't play it. They can search it, but they can't play it for the following turn now. Which makes it much harder for your opponent to clear your whole board, which means you're likely to win next turn. And if you keep it set, it does the same thing. You just basically ideally hold it for their runic card, their runic quick play spell. They're playing loads, aren't they? They're playing loads of quick play spells now. So like deck's playing 15 at least, 16 if you include smashers. You're playing 16 quick play spells in that deck minimum. So this card's really solid and gets the field spell as well, so they can't draw cards in that turn to allow them to push, and they have to deal with all your whole board. So, and even if you mill this, you can set it off Griffin and play. Now, if you didn't want to play this card, you could play Solemn Judgment, or you could play like Anti-Spell. I don't really like Anti-Spell right now. You can play Dimensional Barrier for the mirror match, but it negates your fusions. Probably stick to this or play Solemn Judgment. And yeah, that's the list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want me to do any more before the YCS this weekend, comment below what you'd like to see. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. Show your friends if you think they'd like this or find this quite informative. And I'll see you guys in the next one.